Okay. Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. Also on behalf of my delegation colleagues, Mr. Vladimir Bilčík from the EPP group from this country, and Mrs. Elena Joncheva from the S&D group from Bulgaria, and my name is Sophie Infeld from the Liberal group, and I am Dutch. Our program actually hasn't finished yet. We still have two important stops. After this, we are going to visit the Teplaren bar and basically pay our respects to the victims and to the community. We'll have a meeting with the Prime Minister, and of course we are very grateful to have that opportunity, given that today he's a tad busy with other matters, you would say. As you probably know, the European Parliament Democracy, Rule of Law and Fundamental Rights Group has been monitoring the situation in Slovakia for almost 5 years now, since the murder of Jan Kuciak and his fiancée. In a way, it's sad that we're here today, because the immediate occasion was, of course, the brutal shooting, the terrorist act at the Teplaren bar, whereby 2 young people were killed. So our focus today has been to look at what happened there, how are the authorities dealing with it, what is the situation for LGBTI people in Slovakia, what is not just let's say, the public attitudes, but also what is the government, what are the authorities doing to protect their rights and to protect their safety. And what has to be done. I think we would like to very emphatically thank the police forces, who have been very, very effective on the spot immediately, and also very outspoken about hatred and violence against LGBTI people. And I think that is an extremely important signal, and in this case the police and some leading politicians, also the Prime Minister, have given a very clear signal that this should not happen in Slovakia, and it shouldn't happen in Europe. And I would like to recall people that the European Parliament a while back has adopted a resolution declaring the European Union an LGBTI freedom zone, and that was our answer to the what was it called again? The areas in Poland, the communities in Poland where LGBTI people were banned. So we said, no, the entire European Union is an LGBTI freedom zone, because everybody on this continent in the European Union should be free and safe, whoever they are. We were also very worried to learn that actually this has to be seen against the backdrop of growing radicalization, in particular of young people, in particular online. And that is something very worrying. And it's also worrying that some very senior figures in society, senior politicians, also people from the Catholic Church, members of Parliament, that they are actually also fanning this hatred and the prejudice, and thereby directly and indirectly inciting hatred and violence. And that should stop immediately. It seems that at some point in the not too distant future there will be an election campaign, and I would really call on all responsible politicians to refrain from such hate speech, to refrain from victimizing, targeting the LGBTI community, because as we have seen, it leads literally to violence and death. Then we've also spoken with the education minister, with the culture minister. We also heard from the police that they all want to invest in educating young people, in teaching them about the basic values of the country, the basic values of the European Union, and that also includes teaching them about sexual orientation, gender identity, and what have you. And we very much hope that whoever is going to be the next government, that they will show really strong ambition there, because attitudes start at a very young age. So school is very important. And in this respect, I think it is important that when new education laws are passed, that the entire civil society is consulted and all on an equal level, because we learned that the church here has a kind of privileged right to make recommendations about education laws, and given the overall views of the church on LGBTI issues, we don't feel that that is very balanced. We also met with the plenipotentiary for Roma rights, for Roma people, and that was also a very interesting meeting. And we also hope that the next government will give full support in every way, political support and practical support to his work, to his office, and also take ownership for finding solutions for the problems for Roma communities. Then finally, we also met with the general prosecutor and the special prosecutor, and we had an exchange of views about about how the prosecutor's office works, about Article 363. We also asked about the decision of the general prosecutor to, let's say, simply put, drop the cases against Mr. Fico and Mr. Kalinak. I understand that he gave a very long explanation about that, and we will read that very carefully in order to understand why those cases were dropped. I'm looking at my colleagues if I have overlooked any topics here. Oh yeah, we've also spoken with representatives of the press, and there we still hear that more has to be done in order to secure their safety, their security against verbal attacks, online attacks, threats, and in a country where almost 5 years ago a journalist was murdered, I think special attention should be paid to the safety of journalists. So, as I said, we still have two stops in front of us. We are very much looking forward to meeting with the Prime Minister and grateful for his availability on a day like today. And we will continue to monitor very closely developments in Slovakia. And again, the occasion for coming here was very sad, but of course, coming to this country is always a great pleasure for us. Thank you.
Before raising questions, if you could please state your affiliation and your name, if you could go ahead.
No questions? Everything was crystal clear? Or you're just completely